What's wrong with my little girl?
There's my 4 people and a baby. Okay, you guys can go sit down now. My name is Candice Clouse, and this is for the persuasive speech. I want to share a story with you and see how you would feel about this as a parent. How would you feel if your child wore Wranglers to school one day, and that child got beat up at school because he had those Wranglers on and got put into a coma? I don't think very many parents would think that that is very good. 1/3. 6 out of 10. What do these numbers mean? What do they mean to you? 1/3 of American students are bullied daily. 6 out of 10 American students witness bullying daily. And this information was provided by John Jessup, who is a member of the Christian Broadcasting Network, and this was some statistics that he had provided. All children deserve to go to school without being bullied because of what they wear, how expensive their clothes cost, or how inexpensive their clothes are. As you can see, I feel that school uniforms are a good idea. School uniforms will help increase safety. In addition to increasing safety, they will reduce fighting and violence. They are currently in use at other schools, which makes them practical because they're already in force. It's not a new concept. It's something that is already in place. It is a lower cost to buy school uniforms than for parents to have to go out and buy brand new school clothes every year for their children. And as you can see, it will also help reduce distractions in the everyday class. It will also help teach value and professionalism to the students because of the uniforms. The first one here that we have is safety. Enforcing safety and making sure that our children are safe should be a top priority in addition to the education that they receive. At a school in California, when they enforced the school uniform, sexual offenses decreased by 96% just by having school uniforms. Crime decreased by 91%. Suspensions decreased by 91%, and vandalism decreased by 69%. These are all just by implementing school uniforms. This information was provided by an article in Psychology Today. And if we reduce the fighting and the violence, there are numerous things that could happen. In 1968, in public New York City schools, there were no security guards in those schools. 30 years later, there were more than 3,200 security guards. That is more security guards than the entire Boston Police Department. That is a staggering number, just for security guards for our children. Having the security guards obviously helps reduce gangs and cliques, but also so do school uniforms. School uniforms will allow kids to wear their own collars that they want to, but none of the collars then can be associated with gangs or specific cliques. The kids will all look the same. They'll have the same style of clothes, the same style of pants, and everything will look uniform. Right here where it says that we'll be able to spot outsiders and intruders, since the children will all look the same and have the same style of clothing on, the adults in turn will also have similar clothing. And so if someone comes into the school that is not supposed to be there, we're going to know it, and we can help protect our children even more that way as well. The information about the security guards, that was presented by the Education and Delinquency, a summary of a worksheet, and that is a book. And then on how to get the uniforms in our schools. This is something that we want to do. That way we do make our children safe. To get them into our schools, we need to explain the importance of the uniforms to our children. We need to attend school board meetings to talk to the school board, the teachers, the superintendents, and also the other parents. Which brings us to this next topic, the other parents. If we can talk to the other parents and explain to them why it's important to have these in school, then more will understand and get along and go with the program. We can also talk to other schools that already have school uniforms. They have done research. They can tell us how much the crime has gone down in their schools. They can tell us how many suspensions have been reduced. So talking to other schools will also help us get uniforms into our schools. Carl Cohn is a superintendent of the Long Beach School District, and this is a quote that he had said. School uniforms work because they help to improve the learning climate, eliminate gang attire, encourage students to take school seriously, and as their place of business. Meaning, as their place of business, when you go to work, you have to wear a uniform. So children have a different perspective with the school uniforms. It helps reduce friction between students from different backgrounds and level the playing field so that the students are judged by what they learn and what they can do, not by the price of their clothes. And I love that last part because, again, it's what the children can learn and what they can do that they are now judged by, not by what they're wearing. And this information, again, this was a quote from a book called The First Amendment in Schools. Low cost. In today's economy, everyone is looking for ways to cut costs. School uniforms is one way to do it. They cost less than designer clothes, way less than designer clothes. You can use them as hand-me-downs if you have multiple children in the household. You can sell them to secondhand stores. And then for those low-income families, they can go to secondhand stores to purchase these clothes. And then also, the uniforms are made for repeat wear and wash, so they're more durable than the typical clothes that you buy at a department store. Along with the low cost, I went online and I can buy 5 pairs of pants, khaki pants, and 5 pairs of polo shirts, 5 polo shirts for $125.75. That is a week's worth of clothing for my child. Now, not every family has to buy 5 pairs. You could buy 3 pairs of pants and 3 shirts, and that expense would be even less. Here's an example. This is the website that I went to, and this is the information that I put in, and down there is my total cost. Reducing distractions. School uniforms will help reduce distractions. It eliminates the latest trends because everyone is wearing the same thing. It eliminates the different piercings that students have that can be distractions for those who don't believe in piercings or don't have the piercings. And it will definitely help eliminate who's rich versus who is poor. Values and professionalism. If a student has to wear a school uniform, they're going to learn to respect themselves because they're going to care more about the way they look instead of just dressing however they want. Respect for figures of authority as well. Since they're going to respect themselves, they're going to learn to respect others in addition to that. Work uniforms. We all have to wear uniforms to work. It may not be a suit and a tie, but we have a specific dress code that we have to follow while we are at work. Teaching our children to dress in uniforms at school is help preparing them for the workforce, and that brings us to our next topic here, which is the dress for success. If the students learn how to dress appropriately in school, they're going to know how to dress for business. They're going to know how to dress for their job interviews, anything that they have to do in their professional life. They're going to have that backing behind them with the school uniforms. This is our review. Again, it will increase safety in schools, and that was proven by the California school that implemented over a 5-year period the decrease that they had in the crime, the sex offenses, and the vandalism. It'll reduce fighting and violence. It is currently used in schools, so it's not a new concept. It's easier to explain because there's already research and background on the school uniforms. It's a lower cost than department store clothes. And it helps reduce distractions in the classroom. It teaches the children values and professionalism. And does anyone have any questions? Thank you all for your time.